Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back to Bite Size Thursday, a subsidiary of Off Slate Media. I'm Jake, and that's
Oh, you're
Jared.
Jake, huh? All right, I am Jared today. Stupid joke.
I'm on my computer all the
I'm
time.
on my computer all the time.
Anyway.
I wasn't listening to you. What'd you say?
That works both ways.
Yeah, I know it does.
I'm Jared. This is Jake, and we are watching Star Wars Visions. And today is the 7th episode of the series called The Elder. Animated by Studio Trigger. They also did the 3rd episode, The Twins. This is the same studio that I talked about seeing a movie they made called Promare. Really enjoyed the animation of the Twins. And
I wonder if this one will be a little bit more serious.
We'll see.
I don't know if I hesitate to call the other one unserious because he flippin' sliced a
Star Destroyer
in half
with a
and it was
lightsaber.
Beautiful, but at the same time, you know what I mean.
Yeah. We haven't seen any of these at this point. We'd only seen the first 2, and I don't like to read into what they're about because we want to go in pretty surprised. I will sometimes. I'll look at the cast too. We got David Harbour and James Hong in this.
Those are a couple pretty big names.
Yeah, well, they've had big names in here,
James Hong. Is that Mulan guy?
He's in Mulan. He's in Everything Everywhere. He's in a million things.
Who is he in Everything Everywhere?
He's the grandpa.
Oh, yeah,
It's Hollywood legend in his 90s, just in a million things. A lot of voiceover roles as well.
He was someone in Avatar too.
Probably.
We found that out. I don't remember who.
He's in Kung Fu Panda as Mr. Ping, Poe's dad.
Yeah.
Like, just very recognizable voice. I love James Hong, and to see that he's in this as the Elder, I'm excited. And I think that's all I got to say since we're familiar with the other. We've talked about Studio Trigger before in this, so yeah, that's all I got to say. Do you have anything to add?
James Harbour seems like a big name to get for this.
David Harbour.
Sorry,
yeah.
David Harbour.
Yeah, because it reminded me of Stranger Things. I've not seen
Stranger
much
Things,
of
but also Black Widow.
and he's Hellboy.
Yeah, well, that one, not
the most recent one.
Aren't there 3 of them now?
Well, there's the first 2,
Hellboy,
the Del Toro ones.
Golden Army, is it?
Yeah, those are the Del Toro directed movies with Ron Perlman as Hellboy.
And then
he was Hellboy. What was that? 18 or 19 or something. I heard it was not great. But I like David Harbour. I
appreciated him in the first 2 seasons of Stranger Things.
I've seen the first 2 episodes, so that's it. And I don't think he's in those that much, but anyway.
It's one of those things. I think you either love it or you hate it.
Yeah, most people love it though.
You'll probably hate it then.
Yeah.
He's a hipster, in case you haven't figured it out.
I hate 80s nostalgia too. So
it is 80s nostalgia. You see the first 2 episodes. You must have opened that up and been like, oh.
Every night I thank God that I was not born in the 80s. Anyway.
Hey. Hey. I was born in the 80s. I'm not well, I guess I am a consequence of them then, but
a little bit. Anyway,
I'm not a consequence of Top Gun, maybe.
Anyway, you ready to watch The Elder?
Yeah, I'm ready to watch The Elder.
Let's
take a bite.
Welcome back, everybody. We just watched The Elder, the 7th episode of Star Wars Visions, and
I was right. That was much more serious.
Yeah. And are we going to say it again? What we've been saying
a
ever?
Whole series. I don't know what in the world. Like, this would be if I were to rank it against the other ones that I want an extra series of, this would probably be the most basic, like, anime tropey one that I could think of, because he even says, like, one of the tropes of anime is, why would he use that? Well, what's that? David Harbour literally goes, that technique.
Yep. Yeah. Just like we've mentioned
all he was
before.
doing was lightning bending.
Yep. But again, the Sith haven't been around for hundreds of years, like they said at the beginning. And I also, just like all these, a lot of anime, and you would know, you've seen way more than me, a lot of just reactions.
The ever popular.
Yep. I think I mentioned it. I always love in anime, they'll cut to like a close up of a character about to react, and they just go, huh. And it cuts away. It's like, yep. Yep. Yeah, it's fun. So David Harbour, we said, is good. There's a little stiffness.
Yeah, there's some. But again, there's also a little bit of that is a Jedi kind of like at their peak.
There's one moment though that we're like, yeah,
Dan, run.
Oh, Dan, run. It's like, I think I put more emotion into that than he
did.
did. It's like,
it was more like Dan,
run,
Dan,
run. Yeah, and it's like, okay, that one you can try again. Come on, come on. The rest makes sense, but in a moment where it's supposed to be, you break from the emotion, the emotional restraint of the character because his Padawan is in danger. There's got to be a little more in there, but instead of Dan, run. Also, they named him Dan. I know there are Star Wars characters with basic names all over the place, but there's just something about Dan.
Yeah, part of me. Okay, so part of me, like, do they have a name listed for his master?
Yeah, Tajin. Yeah, Tajin Crosser. Tajin.
Okay, so his master's name is Tajin Crosser,
and he's Dan Gavash.
And his name is Dan.
Yeah, which if you put it together, it looks like Dang Vash. Which Vash, as in Vash the Stampede from Trigun.
I mean, you could be onto something there.
I do love Trigun. That's my favorite.
They might love Trigun too.
Yeah, and then of course, James Hong as the Elder. Great. I love how he's...
You couldn't tell that it was not standard James Hong.
Oh, I could tell it was him, but it's like, oh, this isn't James Hong being James Hong. This isn't James Hong, like, because he's really funny. This one, he's really, like, sinister sounding. It really worked. And when he's, like, talking down to Dan. We should just say it like Roseanne. Dan. When he's, like, talking down to him, like, oh, he's just bored. He's just old and bored. And that, I think I mentioned, too, him slicing Dan, but... we don't, like, see the actual wound. We're behind Dan.
That is especially effective given that he doesn't end up... Spoilers. That he doesn't end up dying.
Yeah, and like I said...
Because it looks like he should have died.
It's just a little slice of the stomach.
He just wanted to bleed him a little bit.
Yeah, he didn't make the cut. But then the actual fight, though short, was good. It's supposed to be short, just...
I mean, there's kind of two short fights.
Yeah, that one, though, was good. I like Dan throwing his lightsaber, and then Tajin just takes his and goes, whoop, just turns it on right on the chest.
How come they don't do that more?
Because it's too easy.
I also love how this show has reimagined lightsabers in a way that I could never...
Yeah, so you mentioned the way the steam on the lightsabers, but the first episode had that.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, when they're at the waterfall.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, there's a little bit of steam on there. And I think there might be another one, but like, yeah, I remember seeing that. I go, that's right. I love seeing the steam come off when the water hits them. Yeah, because
you don't get something like that's light focused through a crystal would be hot.
Yeah, because it can cut through almost anything.
And then can cauterize something like that. But you don't ever think about it because they never show anything that would indicate, other than the opening sequence of Phantom Menace, that it is super hot. But like when it rains like that, and it's like, oh yeah, it does have a little bit of an atmosphere around it.
We've seen
so cool. I know, but I don't.
No. We've seen a lightsaber fight in live action with rain,
but it didn't have steam. Like that.
Which I go, that would have been cool. Of course, it was 2002, so yeah. But that Obi-Wan fight on Kamino, it's like that would have been cool to see some steam. Unless we're misremembering, I haven't watched that movie in a long time.
And it's so that fight is so dark that. How could you?
Yeah, you can't see anything. I just remember Boba's, Dad, look! Oh my, got on the ship.
Gosh, I hate that movie. I have people in my life that love that movie. I just hate it.
I will say, when Obi-Wan, real quick tangent, is wrapped around with the wire thing, and then he kicks him off the roof and just goes, oh, not good. It just proves Ewan McGregor is the best part of those prequels. Well, I always laughed at that part.
That scene is the best sequence in that movie.
No, I like the whole big battle at the end.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's great. We just have to get through 2 hours of movie to get to it. Oh, when I was a kid, I'd put the DVD in, I just skipped to the end.
Do you know what is the worst scene of that movie? When he goes into the diner. It looks so bad.
To see Dex go, Obi-Wan! Hello, Dex. Take a seat. I'll be right with you. And then you got the one waitress. You want a cup of Java juice? And then, of course, they go, hey, oh, buddy. And Ewan McGregor's patting nothing, because if you watch the behind the scenes, he's just wrapping around nothing. They animated the Dex into the scene without... Because nowadays you'd have, like, something or someone to hug.
You mean like what they did with Han Solo in the first remaster of the Star Wars movies?
Are you talking Jabba? Jabba scene?
When they put that scene in there, and they're like, oh crap, he has a tail. And so they animate him up. It looked like he's taking a step.
Yeah, and then you got that one reaction for Jabba where he goes, ah! Or whatever. And it's like, back to the Elder, though.
It was great.
Yeah, it's good.
Why are... I know the answer to this. Why is animation so much better at imagining what a lightsaber could be? These things just have so much more character than anything we've seen in live action. I don't know why people want so much live action stuff. Like, even...
I know why.
The Darksaber is an exception, I think, to that. But...
Yeah, the reason most media is live action is because people think of animation as a kid's thing, and it drives me nuts. And it's weird. And it's weird because there are people now getting into like their 40s and 50s that grew up on animation and anime that still watch them, but still think of them as kids stuff. Where then, you're not far off from 40, and I'm in my 30s now, and it's like
it's gross.
We're in this generation of we've grown up with this. We think this is important because it is, and I don't see it as lesser or younger because there is stuff made for kids specifically, but there's also stuff for adults. And in the next coming decades, I think it will change into where animation hopefully will be seen on the same level for most people. Because again, what's the biggest number of people out there is the boomer generation. And like I'm guessing your parents too, my parents kind of look down on animation a little bit. Clone Wars came out, which again, more kid focused, but instantly like, I don't need to watch that. That's not real. It's the animated thing. And then I tell them, no, it's canon.
For my parents, at least, I don't want to hear those annoying voices.
Yep.
Also, my dad's just not really like a movie person. He's more like a Top Gun movie person.
And there's nothing wrong with not liking animation or movies. It's just I hate when people look down on a whole medium like this.
You don't get to look down on something like that. You can say, I don't like it. You can say, I don't think that it's not entertaining to me and it's annoying to me. That's fine. What you can't say is that is not a thing for adults.
Yeah. And then the inverse is there are Disney adults.
If I might get a little personal here, part of the reason I had such a departure from animation, I think, in my high school years into my
college years,
probably mid-college years, when I really started hunkering down on anime, is because one of my friends, I used to watch Digimon, and even in middle school, I was still super excited about Digimon. We're going to have a Venom Myotismon fight in a next episode, and my friend was sleeping over, and I wanted to get up and watch it. And he made fun of me while we were watching this. And
that kind of turned you off for a while.
Yeah.
It happens to us all. You get shamed. It's like you get shamed for it by a friend. It's like, oh, you still watch that baby show? And it's like, where does this come from? I feel like, again, I don't know how kids are these days, but because of how more open people are to animation, I wonder if it's changing.
I don't think if this person was still a close friend, I think he would still probably make fun of him for it. But my wife even says, "You like those cartoons?" Well, yeah, and then she watches them with me and she likes them. So.
Yeah, I was saying the flip side of they look down on it is the Disney adults who take it way too seriously. And it is like, okay, let's take a step back for a second. Let's go outside and touch some grass.
We don't know how to do that. Are we even on a planet that has grass anymore?
Not for long. Yeah. Oh, real quick. One of the smaller swords a samurai can hold is it's either tanto or tanto, it means short blade. Another one is kodachi, and another one is, oh boy, I am really bad at these pronunciations, wakizashi. So one of those three is probably similar to what the Elder wielded in this, what it was supposed to resemble, because it was a shorter blade.
So remember, how I was saying, why don't lightsabers have more character like this? It doesn't even have to be in the shape of the lightsaber. Like, a lot of the character of the Elder's lightsabers were the fact that his hilts
were just kind of like beaming out a little bit. It wasn't really a shape.
They were short, but then they had like tattered rag hanging off of them. Like those types of swords that have the like tail on them. It's not really like a full like long tail, but like there's just different things that you could physically do to the hilt that just do not get showcased enough.
Is the hilt the whole thing? I thought the hilt was on the end near the blade, and then the handle was under the hilt. I'm wondering. Because like when Kylo Ren's sword in the first trailer was shown, it's like, oh, it has a hilt. But then, am I wrong? I'm asking you.
I have always thought that the hilt was everything under the handguard, but I couldn't tell you I'm right.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I'd like to. Let's see. Here's a picture of a sword.
Here's a picture of a sword.
Yeah, it's too small for me to read. But, well, I'll get it off camera. But yeah, I wasn't sure if the whole thing was the hilt or just the little part that might be just called the guard. The whole thing is the hilt. I wasn't sure, but that's all I got to say about the Elder. Great animation, great, little different from their last Visions episode, and that's cool. Just I like that it's two different things.
I was right. This was way more serious. I don't know if I've said it already.
Yeah.
In this 15 minutes, but yeah.
And we would take
my preference is well, given the two of them, my preference would probably be the other one because there would probably be serious elements in a series like that. But
yeah. Anyway, anything else to say about the Elder?
I think I got everything.
All right. So, Jake, where can they find us if they wanted to keep tuning in with us on Tuesdays and Thursdays?
If you want to keep tuning in with us on Tuesdays and Thursdays, right now on Tuesdays, we're working through Marvel with our special guest, Nick. I'm not sure you can see him, but he's up there. If you want to come back on Thursdays for some more bite-sized stuff, here we are. You can always check us out on Facebook, X,
formerly known as Twitter. You did it last week on your own, so I was waiting.
Instagram, ever funny TikTok. If you want to just listen to us, we're on Apple, Spotify, Google, if that's still a thing, iHeartRadio, anywhere you can get your podcasts. If you listen to us on anything with a rating system, go ahead and give us a rating. We always appreciate that. You can also come back right here to YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, get notified whenever we release new content. And then come on back next week for...
Yep.
I'll let him handle the next episode.
Episode 8 of this first season is called Lop and Ocho.
Oh.
Cho. And it's animated by, I believe it's Geno Studio. I believe that's how you pronounce that. But that'll be next week. So until then...
Let's...
take a bite.